What's up, everybody? This is the Lean Marine, and I wanted to start off by introducing myself. Before I start to talk about lean and how it applies to your business, probably be a good idea for you to understand exactly where I'm coming from. So, obviously, as the name depicts in the shirt, I am a Marine. I served for 4 years in the Marine Corps and active duty, was a radio operator and cross-trained as a forward observer, and got to do some fun stuff here and there. But it really, if I think back to my life as a Marine, it does start to show signs of the lean lifestyle being introduced. We have standards. There's some basic creativity. The unofficial Marine Corps motto is improvise, adapt, and overcome. Definitely back in the day when we didn't get, some of the high speed gear that they get now, you had to be really creative with what you had. On top of that, I've spent 20 years as a lean practitioner. First starting off when I worked at Snap-on Tools, and I worked with Shingijutsu and got my lean training. The basics started there. And then later on in life, as I moved into being a senior manufacturing engineer for another company, eventually being a CI manager. And for the last 8 years, I've been a consultant, a continuous improvement lean business consultant, and helped several different companies. And part of the reason why I decided I wanted to start this line of videos is because this initiative, this lean life, applies to all businesses. It shouldn't be just the huge corporations, the billion-dollar corporations that should be able to get someone consulting and helping them improve their business. And a lot of these basic principles, a lot of these things can be applied to your business, whether you're running a food truck, a lawn care company, whether you're doing construction, whatever your business is, these principles apply. In fact, these principles can apply to your life. And that's the reason why I wanted to start this line of videos. Another side of things too is if there's individuals that want a little bit of help, I can lend that help. I can do that remotely. Obviously, I'm not going to be, you're not going to be paying for me to be on site and doing all the things that the bigger companies do, but I can definitely help you out with some of the issues that you're encountering. And I think what you're going to find is a lot of this stuff is common sense. A lot of this stuff is basics. And I think it's important that in any business, partially because of my faith, we should be trying to strive to utilize what we've been blessed with to the max, to the best. If we have a business, we probably have other people that are stakeholders that are dependent upon that business, right? Whether you have a business in the local environment and there's people that expect you to go purchase, let's say you have a food truck and you're buying local, right? That grocery store that you're buying your stuff from, maybe there's a local farmer that you're buying your stuff from. There's people that depend on that business to come and eat at the food truck. There's probably other vendors that you're buying stuff from that are dependent upon you as a business owner. And then, of course, your extended family are dependent upon that business. And it's in all of our best interest for us to be able to maximize the usage of whatever resource it is we have, whether it's our personal time, whether it's our financial capabilities, whatever those resources are, it's dependent upon us to utilize them to their best. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to make these videos. So as you go onto the YouTube channel, as you go onto my website, what you're going to start to find is there's some basics that I'm going to go through, like, what is value added, non-value added? What are KPIs or key performance indicators? How do I choose my KPIs? How do I track them? And depending on the type of business that you have, that thing in which you measure is going to be important, and it's going to be different depending on what the business is. So those are important. What are the 8 wastes? Again, these are lean basics. What is my capacity? That can be an important thing to find out depending on what your business is. Let's say you have a lawn care business. Well, you need to know what is your actual capacity. You need to know what that threshold is in which you need to start going out and finding more people to work for you, whether you need to have, more than one lawnmower or a bigger lawnmower, all those things, right? So over the course of time, what I'm going to do is talk about these basics, and you can choose to how you apply those to your business. And if there's a need and a question that you have for me, you can contact me, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you a little bit about that. Again, this is a lifestyle that I've embraced, not necessarily physically. And, just like doctors usually make the worst patients, sometimes a lean practitioner has the hardest time applying that to life at home. But I will say that in business, I wholeheartedly believe in lean. I do believe that the most successful businesses see lean as the means in which you achieve whatever those goals are in life. It's not a department. Any business that decides that they're going to have a continuous improvement department, and that is what the function is to do continuous improvement, and that's it. I don't believe is fully going to be able to feel the effects of having a lean culture. When a business decides that we use lean as a means in which we do business, and it is our life, it is the way in which we do business, I think those companies are the ones that are going to be the most successful. So I hope you tune into the videos. Please leave some comments if there's some questions that you have, if there's some videos that I don't get to, or some topics that you want me to talk about, please put them in the suggestions. By all means, I'll be making sure that I take care of you all. Again, it'll be brought up many times in my videos. My faith is critical to me, and part of the reason why I'm doing this also is because as you free up time in your life, you should be able to apply that time to serving the Lord. And if you're not a Christian, please reach out to me. I can tell you what being a Christian is all about, and I can help share with you the plan of salvation. And as I always, I'm going to be ending my videos. It's Jesus est Rex, which is Jesus is King. Thank you, and God bless.